Welcome back. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those developments that played out within the APC yesterday. Well, now here in our studios, we've got Mr. Tunde Bankantoni. He's a member of the APC and a former DG, Lagos State Sports Commission. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
All right, and then we also do have joining us via Skype, Honorable Samson Osagie, former Minority Whip. Good morning, Honorable. Thank you for joining us again today as well.
Tambale, thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's take a look, delve into this. I mean, the different views. One of the is such that I think the Bulama group, the secretary at that time, he's written a letter saying, look, they're studying all of what has happened. They were looking for advice from their lawyers, but initially they did maintain that certain things just didn't go right, particularly concerning this meeting which held yesterday. Tell us, how did you feel?
Well,
what happened?
It's a very welcome development. Like you could see in the past few weeks, the party has been in total disarray within itself, right? And we know the leader of the party is the president of the Republic of Nigeria. APC is party in government, right? So when push comes to shove, the president step out and did the right thing. Otherwise, this party will self-destruct because of personal agenda that has nothing to do with what they're talking about. Ajumabi is gone, just like that. Kari is gone, just like that. Nobody would tell you that Ajumabi will die yesterday. May God rest his soul. It was 70 how many years ago? How many months ago? So it's not about what you envisage. Let's deal with reality on the ground now. And the man came out yesterday and he did the right thing. And the right thing will never be good enough for some people.
When you say personal interests, whose?
What happened in Edo State? Right? What happened in Lagos State about a year or two ago? Right? What is happening now in Ondo State? What is happening even within the neck? Where are we going? Who is sure of life tomorrow? So for me, I'm very philosophical about issues. I'm very direct. I'm an APC member, but independent APC member.
What?
Independent?
Nothing like that. That is me today by Cantoni. I have my own views.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I have my own views. I look at things the way I deem it right.
Well, let's take the opening comments of Honorable Samson Osagie. You are aware of this meeting, first of all, from all that's, has gone on, all the conversation, all the confusion about whether or not the meeting should hold, the people that agree or do not agree that it should hold. What's your own take?
Well, thank you very much, Tambale and his crew. I want to thank you for having me. What happened yesterday at the NEC meeting convened in the villa is received or has been received with mixed reactions. And for me, I want to believe that Mr. President can best be described as having invoked the doctrine of necessity to step into the protracted crisis within the party. I say doctrine of necessity because there are so many fundamental flaws legally with respect to the processes leading to the convening of that meeting. But as an organ of the party, the National Executive Committee of the party has enormous powers under Article 13, to summon such meeting and create committees as it may deem fit for the purpose running the party. It is the principal executive organ of the party. Because those who created the crisis wanted a situation like this so as to create a fait accompli for the leadership of the National Working Committee. Because the National Working Committee under Comrade Adams Oshomole did their best. And apart from a few renegades within that committee, the majority of that National Working Committee were quite cohesive in their actions and in their activities of the party. A few people who were looking into the future when they did not know what tomorrow holds, like my friend in the studio said, Senator Ajimobi is gone now. Who knows about tomorrow? And the permutations, I dare say, the permutations for the next presidential elections is what has actuated this whole crisis in order to ensure that the NWC does not function as it should function. However, Mr. President, leading other members of the National Working Committee, principally the governors, they have taken a step towards resolving the crisis, and I believe that the party will heave a sigh of relief at this point, especially against the background that it has warned that no party member should necessarily involve the party in litigations, because that alone is a recipe for a party to disintegrate.
So, could you shed some light on that? What do you mean a recipe to disintegrate? Telling people not to go to court or what?
No, the constitution of the party. You see, Chamberlain, when you subscribe to the constitution of a party, and that is why in several cases the court have said there are internal issues of the party that the court shouldn't involve itself. It is not for people not to seek redress in court, but for people to, for instance, go to court to ask for an order compelling them to do certain things, compelling them to convene a national executive meeting, an order for giving them powers to act in a capacity that they ordinarily should not act. And then the judiciary is according them those type of requests. You know, it's a recipe for crisis. Every Dick and Harry can take that opportunity across the country and take the party to court. And you know the implications of litigation in an organization. Litigations don't bring about cohesion. It doesn't bring about harmony. When everybody resort to court, litigation, that will kill the soul of the party. And in all of this, just check out the entire National Working Committee. Only one or two people were involved in all of these activities. The national chairman himself has been very law-abiding. He never took the party to court. Ditto for many of the National Working Committee members. So those who lend themselves to be used by external forces to destabilize the working of the National Working Committee that was dissolved yesterday were those who wanted to create a situation of a fait accompli, such as we found ourselves, that has made the president and some other leaders of the party, particularly the governors, to take the step they take. And I say that they have done so more or less under the doctrine of necessity, not legally speaking, because, like I said, there are a lot of landmines when it comes to looking at the circumstances and the procedure that was used to convene that meeting. But party members must ensure that they are disciplined and obey the rules and regulations of the party. That is how a party can grow.
Well, it suggests he's saying that, look, if they went to court, yes, benefited from the rulings of the court to get to this level, how then do you tell people not to go to court if they feel, hard done by?
Well, it is not the court that led to this level.
No, he's saying that, look, for the fact that the court did ask Gyadom to acting chairman, then yes, extended it, upon which they predicated that NEC meeting and then got to this level.
The president stepped in at the right time, right? The president stepped in at the right time. The governors wanted it. All our governors were at that meeting yesterday. The leaders of the National Assembly were there at the meeting, and the NEC meeting, and the NEC members were there. You know, NWC is not an organ of the party. It's a creation for a purpose. It's a vehicle. So when the NEC decided to meet, and they did, right, whoever called that meeting, right, the president was there, the president hosted the meeting, you understand me, and the credibility is based on Mr. President. I'm not here to say, oh, it's Gyadom that called the meeting, or it's Oshomole. No way.
But he called the meeting.
The point is that the president hosted the meeting at the end of the day. That is the bottom line.
But what about the letter? Have you seen the letter written, signed by Hilad Etta and Waziri Bulama, when they did say that, look, Article 25B of the Constitution of the party is explicit that only the national chairman or the national working committee can summon such a meeting, and then you have a minimum of 14 days. It's an emergency, 7 days. They thought that all of that wasn't complied with, and so the basis of that meeting was not right.
So they want to go to court. They are free to. The president has advised that let's suspend all these issues of going to court because this will destroy the party. You should look back. Look back very well. May God rest Ajimobi's soul. He was a fine gentleman, a politician that asserted himself. You remember when he became a senator? He was not an AD member, was not a PDP member, was an APP member, just like Amosu. Right? When Lai Mohammed was National Publicity Secretary and he became a minister, who replaced him? Only who replaced him from Kwara. Clearly. That was very clear. The other person, right, that was a national member, that when he left the position, who replaced him? Another person from that state replaced him. When Muiz left, Ogala replaced him from Lagos State. When Niyi Adebayo left as national vice chairman, who was told to replace him? Right? Late Chief Ajimobi from Oyo State. There's some fundamentals that you have to look at, right? And you see, I look back to all these scenarios, right? I can only remember, maybe when you subject party chairmen to election, like the days of the Second Republic, very well, that they will go for a true convention and they will be voted for like a candidate, that they will realize the importance of their job.
Is it just about being replaced or the process of replacement?
The process of replacement, the process of internal democracy, internal affairs should be made clear.
But that one is. Let me take this up with
Yes.
Honorable Samson, because that's one of the questions that Chamberlain just asked now about the process of convening this meeting. There are provisions in the constitution of the APC that is supposed to be within 14 days, 7 days if it's an emergency. But this one was done under less. And as a matter of fact, we spoke with an APC state chairman yesterday who said he didn't have any idea that such a meeting was going to hold. And he was supposed to be a part of it as a member of NEC. So do you, in your opinion, maybe from what our guest here is saying, say that the end justifies the means or the means is as important as the end?
Yeah, I have said before that that meeting yesterday can best be described as founded on the doctrine of necessity because like the point you just raised now, it raises fundamental questions as to legal basis upon which that meeting was called. But as party members who desire a strong political organization, I think that the decision of NEC yesterday has to be binding, regardless of those flaws. Because if you dig into that and then begin to look into the legality or otherwise of the actions and the processes, then we'll be back to square one. For us, especially those of us in the Edo, we desire a political party that is stable both at the national and the state in order for us to confront the next election coming up shortly. So I said earlier that there are legal issues to be looked into. But the stage we are now, Mr. President, who is the leader of the party in the country, has stepped out, convened a meeting of NEC meeting, however so called, and then far-reaching decisions have been made. And I believe that the members of the National Working Committee who worked tirelessly to save the soul of the party and ensure that illegalities were not condoned by some few members of the NWC who led themselves to external manipulations do not succeed. Have also done well. They have paid their prices. So I believe that going forward, we need to have a situation where we will implement the decisions of the NEC meeting in order to ensure cohesion. Definitely, I agree with those who say that there are legal issues, fundamental ones at that, about the way and manner the meeting was convened. And I do not want to go into details, otherwise it will be reopening some other ones.
But don't you think that, okay, you want to say something?
When you say, I mean, there are legal issues, you understand me? What are the legal issues? Like my friend said from Abuja that this is necessity and about common sense. NWC did their bit, they work, and you could see what they've done so far was ratified by that meeting. The president gave them kudos. People came in and said, Godom said, oh, I will cancel Edo State primaries, I will do this, I will do that. Do you understand me? At the end of the day, what has played out is the president stayed with the party. And what you have done so far, you have done well, but this is where you stop. And let's move forward. That is the bottom line. So people, you see, the point is that, I remember when President Gide said a few days ago that he doesn't know the role usually always gets themselves into in politics. June 12, along the line, if you read the script very well, you see them pulling the judiciary in. This manner as well, you see them pulling the judiciary in. Do you understand? And we know that anywhere in the world, the best politicians are lawyers. So why are you always trying to properly distract the focus? I mean, it's so sad that people come, even from yesterday's list already, oh, they are anti-Bola Tinubu, oh, they are anti-Oshomole, oh, they are pro this or they are pro that. And I said, is that the minute you take to this?
But people will always read meanings to what they want to read meanings to.
The point is
and
that,
you just said something now.
Yes.
Just the best politicians are lawyers.
Yes.
And lawyers take whatever point, whatever side of the divide that they want
Yes.
at any given time. So what do you then say to those who are already pitching these tents? Because as far as they are concerned, it is clear.
what is clear? What is clear? That it's obvious that the party is in crisis, and this will have continued. And like we see some people saying that, oh, they are going to court, I mean, this is not binding on them. All sorts of things are coming up. But the point is that I believe, I'm a politician, I'm a realist, they are hot air. It's full of hot air. The president has spoken, and that is the final thing he has said. Right? We are moving forward. We have an election in September in Edo State, in Ondo State. Is our house in order? Are we going to go there united or divided about this thing?
Now, if the party could, for want of a better word, suspend the constitution, because, I mean, certain provisions of the APC constitution were, kept in abeyance in this doctrine of necessity, as you both gentlemen have said. What's the assurance that these things won't still continue, won't open up in some other cases? Because as far as those people who are aggrieved are concerned, certain specific provisions of your party constitution have been set aside.
Okay, the NEC, what I was going to say about NEC, is supposed to meet every quarter. Where was the last time they met? So don't let's go there. Don't let's go there. Don't let's go there. Don't let's go there. The point is that the president, hey, he can look them to self-destroy. He's got the second term. But he's trying to leave a legacy that this party made me president, right? I will not let it scatter. That's the bottom line. But if you believe that it's anti-anybody, the intention of Bola Tinubu to contest for presidency, to more than him, a lot of people around him want him more than they wanted him to be there. He's a realist. He's a realist. Period. He's not somebody that you can push. He knows their intention. The youngest one, he knows their intention. He knows what they want. And he's a very experienced politician. That some of them will still turn back. The so-called kitchen cabinet, when push comes to shove, you will see them at the other side of the table. That is what it's all about.
Well, Honorable Osagie, part of what was said at that meeting, too, is that no law has been broken here, because they said, look, this NEC meeting was a continuation of where they left off the last time, and so they don't see first if any law has been broken whatsoever. Do you disagree or agree with that?
I think the answer to that has already been established by my earlier statement, that the entire process leading to that meeting could best be described as based on necessity. I heard the explanation that the meeting was held in due deference to the earlier notice that was issued by Giadon as at March, February. And they forget that the Lagos Federal High Court, as at then, had issued an order preventing them from holding that meeting. So that notice has ceased to be valid anyway. And for me, I do not want to go into the legal issues at all because there are so many. What is important at this stage is for the party to come back and then reunite themselves under the new leadership. Although for us in Edo, we are at great pace to have a leader, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, abruptly removed from office by a process for which he did not contribute to making it happen. But that's life for you. Nothing lasts forever, not even our troubles. Troubles must come to an end at some point. So I do not agree that the notice for that meeting was proper enough to be grounded under the constitution of the party. But we accept that the necessity and the exigencies of the moment requires that Mr. President, who is the leader of the party, can intervene. And he has done so with other leaders of the party, the sub-national levels. We have to move forward. What is important is to move forward.
Okay, because I was going to ask, I mean, now that you say they have to move on, does that suggest that whichever group that is considering taking any legal action should consider the fact that, well, they ratified what transpired in Edo and says, well, look, we have to move on from there, come together and ensure the party wins. So should that weigh heavily on the minds of those people and then they move on rather than see how they could seek redress?
I think so because, like my friend in the studio said, the ratification of the decisions of the National Working Committee as led by Comrade Adams Oshiomhole and then later Senator Ajimobi via Hilliard Etta, by the next meeting of yesterday, has already given a sign that the activities and their work was recognized. And to that extent, it is a pat on their back by Mr. President and the NEC committee. So I believe that is already a vote of confidence on them. But for the plethora of litigations that have docked the activities of the party, NEC and Mr. President have to take the decision. So I am sure, because like someone said that they are looking at the papers and they are getting advice from their lawyers.
All right. Well, Mr. Bankantoni, you're looking at some of these things and the way the events are played out. Yes, you're suggesting people should not read meanings into all of this, but that's going to be incredibly difficult, how people will not read any meanings into this.
Well, I mean, what I know from here is that a lot of people believe that Asiwaju Tinubu will run for president in 2023. And he has said so many times through his press officer, Tunde Rahman, that most people are going out there doing souvenirs, trying to run for president. The man has not made a statement to that effect. I don't know who else has been in the news like that. And you look at the Amaechi, I mean, if APC said it is now being zoned to the south, it's not mandatory. Buhari faced Okorosha, he faced Atiku, he faced this guy who owns the Daily Trust at the primaries, right? I remember OBJ's second term, he faced the Kweme, he faced Gemade, he faced Rimi. So I mean, the whole idea is that a lot of people believe they can be Nigerian president. But there's a process to it, to achieving that aim we all desire. But if you now look at it and say, oh, it is against Bola Tinubu, already you are letting me feel like, oh, Bola Tinubu is my leader now. Why would this be against him? The people who are there, most of them have worked with him. You have AC people there who are now APC. You have new APC people there we've been with him. Is a melting pot that I believe will take us forward. And I think, and I believe Asiwaju sees beyond that. So, and people who are cooking all this, we are going to go to court. I mean, before the end of today, you will see all sorts of different opinions coming out. And it's going to happen. And they're going to come up with different kind of cookies they want to cook.
So when you say that he hasn't said anything about all of those souvenirs or speculation,
yes,
and then you give that example of people facing other people within the party, is that to say that, well, there's nothing wrong if he wants to contest, that then if anybody else wants to contest alongside him, they can face each other?
That is politics, of course. If that's what it takes, they are speculating, Aregbesola is interested, I'm making interested. Why not? If not, why? It's not a monarchy. The field is open to anybody to contest an election.
So you say there is a possibility?
Of course, there's a possibility. There's a possibility. Because what else, what next will he do? Will he continue to be the oracle in Lagos? It could be the oracle of Nigeria. So that is it. But there's a process to it. It's not a la carte, like Asiwaju will tell you.
What do you say to those who think, isn't it too early in the day to begin to talk about 2023?
That's why I said the Angas horn. That's why I call them Angas horn. People who all they do to sit down and permutate and suggest and speculate and give you an idea that you yourself know is not visible. Okay, don't worry. Okay, thank you very much. I hear you. That is what is going on now. Oshomole has done his bit. That is now history. Now moving ahead.
Isn't he supposed to play a role in Edo elections?
Oshomole, what role? To vote? He only has one vote. He has concluded his job. We have a candidate there already.
He's a former governor.
So?
And a former national chairman.
So?
Shouldn't that give him some clout?
Oyegun was a governor of that same state and a former national chairman of that same of this party. So don't let's give unnecessary attention to what is not. He's a national chairman. He was a national chairman. End of story. He was a governor. End of story. We have a governor there now, right? We should have a national chairman very soon. So it's not something that is permanent, not even live.
Well, Honorable Osagie, is this the way you see these developments concerning Comrade Oshomole?
Comrade Adams Oshomole is a political enigma. We have continued to respect his leadership on account of his ability to root out the opposition party as at 2008. Perhaps no other person has been able to do that in any of the states in the South. It was through his candidature that the opposition party made inroad into the South. So it's not sufficient to dismiss him like every other former governor. But I agree that he was a former governor. Governor is now former national chairman. But the truth of the matter is that he impacts more positively on the state and its people, and they have continued to remember him. But let me lend credence to the points he made about people positioning themselves for 2023 on account of which people are taking various steps. I do not understand why people will be hysterical about who will contest for presidency in 2023 and who will not. And like he said, going down his memory lane, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo ran for primaries at the convention in Jos in 1998. He ran for another convention in 2003. And Yar'Adua ran the convention against other party members. Even President Buhari ran against other party members in Lagos convention in 2014. So the stage is not closed, the space is not closed. And I believe, like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said in the past, 2023 is rather too far for people to begin to position themselves and destabilize the party institution in order to have an inroad into what will give them advantage in 2023. Who knows who will get there? Senator Ajimobi was alive a few days ago, but today he's no more. He probably had ambition. So I agree with him totally that it is very wrong, it is ungodly for people to use ambitions for future to begin to cause a crisis, as we have been beginning to see in the APC.
Does that take away anything from maybe the oomph that the party was going to go into Edo State elections with? Because, I mean, yesterday, if you listen to some of the comments made on the grounds while the PDP were campaigning, they were referencing what they had seen in Abuja, thinking that the grog had been swept off Comrade's feet, and as such, now the PDP should be on smooth sailing. Is that the way you see it? Is it going to affect how the elections go, perhaps the chances of the APC?
I want to assure you that that will not be the situation. In Edo State, we already have a candidate, and the party is united behind that candidate. Comrade Adams Oshiomhole is a force to reckon with in Edo State politics. So let PDP wait in the next few days and see what will hit them. It is not uhuru for them yet that they have a current governor as their candidate. More is yet to come. The last is yet to be heard about PDP primaries, and I will not go into details. But I want to assure you that the APC in Edo State has since fully recovered since the defection of the governor, and we are on the path to retrieving the state back into the coffers of the APC in the September 2020 elections. Don't forget that NEC ratifying the decision, the primaries that was conducted in Edo State, is a clear indication that the party would not like to lose that state. And all hands has to be on deck, and I believe it will be on deck in order to ensure that Edo does not slip this time. It's a collective responsibility. The opposition party, at least at the federal level, which is the PDP, can begin to dream, but we will do our work in order to ensure that victory comes the way of our candidate.
Well, what do you say to those people who believe that there are still factions in the APC in Edo State, given that some of them still have allegiance to the governor who has moved to another political party, who may, one way or another, work against the fortunes of APC in the coming elections?
Well, the truth of the matter, Chamberlain, is that as we speak today, those who were campaigning for the former governor and who were holding one party position or the other, or were even removed, are staying behind in order to sabotage the APC. And the party already recognizes them, and the party will deal with their issue appropriately. So as we speak, there is no faction, because all those who factionalize the party have moved to the PDP with Governor Obaseki. That is their candidate. They are remaining in the APC at the moment is only intended to cause more crisis, inflict more injury on the party, and the party will not allow that. They have been identified up to their word, and the party is doing everything possible to checkmate their activities and deal with their menace as time goes on.
As enigmatic as you said the former national chairman is of the APC, he still remains suspended as a member of his party. What do you say? How does that, solidify this unity that you have said? Some party members say that he has been reintegrated. Another party, another faction says he still remains suspended.
Well, you should understand that with yesterday's decision, all that have gone into the wind, they no longer matter anymore. There are people you talk about being suspended, and then you think that that will have any impact. As a matter of fact, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole for us was never suspended. Because like I said in my previous interview, that the purported suspension of Comrade Adams Oshiomhole by 8 persons from Ward 10 in Esako West is the most ridiculous political action that has ever received judicial support in this country. How can 8 people in a ward executive suspend the national chairman of the party, and then they went all the way to receive judicial support? And I know that can never hold any water. 17 out of the 26 members of the executive have since said that they were not privy, they were not part to that. What is democracy? Is it not the rule of majority? So as far as I'm concerned, if democracy is the rule of majority, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole enjoys the support of the majority of the APC members who did not follow Governor Godwin Obaseki to the PDP. So those who are clamoring for his continued suspension are already PDP, in their heart, and then pretending to remain APC in body, because they cannot go to PDP and remain floor members when they are executive active members of APC. So we understand what is going on. We understand the politics that is being played. And like I told you, we are fishing them out, and we will check their menace right up to their unit level as we go into the next round of campaigns and elections.
Does that then mean that the party in Edo State will subject themselves to the leadership of Mr. Ojezua?
It's not possible. Ojezua has since been suspended, don't forget. And his suspension was ratified by the National Working Committee. Only yesterday, the NEC meeting had ratified the decision of the National Working Committee with respect to Edo State primaries. And then that extends to all decisions that have been taken leading to this. So Ojezua is no longer chairman of APC. He is a member of PDP as I speak with you. Governor Godwin Obaseki is his candidate. So the party and the caretaker committee must look into that seriously before inviting Ojezua for party matters. He cannot be a member and a chairman of this party because his candidate is already Governor Obaseki in PDP. You can't be chairman in APC and they have a candidate in PDP. That is the height of antipathy and the height.
Well, last time we spoke to him, he said categorically, in his words, I am the chairman of Edo APC. Unless, of course, we will have to call him back before the show ends and find out if he has now moved to the PDP, as you say, unless you have, is that new information or is something that happened a while ago?
He has always claimed he's chairman. For those of us who are members of this party in Edo State, we know who the chairman of the party is. Upon his suspension by majority of the State Executive Committee members in Edo State, many months ago, his suspension was ratified by the National Working Committee. Thereafter, he moved to court to challenge his suspension. And the matter is still in court. As we speak, he is battling with the matter in court. He has not gotten any favorable judgment to reverse that. And then he still starts claiming. As we speak, he is at best a political saboteur in the APC. He is already in PDP, claiming to be chairman of APC. And I think this party cannot allow the indiscipline. He is one of those who have dragged this party in Edo State into the state it is today, because he refused to lead as a chairman of party.
That we'll have to get across to him then for him to clarify some of these comments you've made. But if the NEC did say all cases in court should discontinue, so shouldn't we expect that everyone should put machinery, take steps to pull out all those cases from the court and pull together? I'm asking that when haven't... Yeah, I'm asking that the NEC did suggest that, look, the president even said so, that, look, everybody pull together. Shouldn't we expect that all those cases, including the ones you say are in court, they should all go ahead and get those cases out and let everybody pull together in the same party and move ahead together?
I agree with you. I agree with you. We never took the party to court. Aslem Ojezua and his co-travelers on the Godwin Obaseki divide of the party in Edo State were the ones that find all the actions. So if the proposal of the matter in court is in obedience to what has happened yesterday, but the truth of the matter is that Aslem Ojezua is no longer a member of this party.
But
man, as we speak, because his candidate in the party is already in PDP.
At the meeting yesterday, he was at the NEC meeting yesterday.
I think that was a misnomer. Those who do not understand the local politics of our state, that is what I was telling you. The man who purportedly convened that meeting has been working hand in hand to sabotage the Edo APC. And that was why they called him for that meeting. For those of us in Edo State, we know that Aslem Ojezua is already a member of the PDP. That is the truth of the matter. What role did he play in the primaries that we just conducted, that NEC has ratified? He didn't play any role. He didn't participate. Indeed, he said there was no primary. So that is a man already working, to bring the party into odium. His candidate is already PDP candidate at this stage. All indices point to that fact. They are uncontroverted. Everybody knows. Every politics is local. Those of us in Edo knows that Aslem Ojezua is already a PDP member, together with his co-travelers, Charles Idahosa, Godwin Obaseki, Philip Shaibu, okay, and all of them. We know who are members of APC in Edo as we speak. So calling for a NEC meeting yesterday was the height of ignorance of the local situation in Edo State. He was not supposed to be part of that meeting.
Well, we've just got word that Mr. Jesua will be meeting with the NWC this morning. His NWC this morning, and after which he will now make a statement. But Mr. Bank Anthony...
There's no mind WC.
That's what he said. He said he's going to have a meeting this morning, and then he'll respond. His own team, so...
Okay, you see, my brother from Edo State is speaking with a lot of emotions. All politics is local. We've come to realize that Obaseki is not a pushover in Edo State politics anymore. And all we need to do is to come together. There must always be a dissenting voice in politics. I don't follow blindly. You must be able to assert yourself when you play this game. So, him talking about the chairman of the party like that in that state, the chairman of the party could be supporting Obaseki on principle. It does not mean he wants his party to lose in Edo State. All politics is local. It will not be where Ojesua will be on election day. The enigma, Chief Oshomole, will not be in Benin on that day. People will hold their own space on that day of election. So I want them to realize that it is not about an individual. How many of us are in APC? Who are we contending with? A whole community. So we should try and realize that Obaseki did not leave the party because he wanted to. He collected the form, did everything possible, and he was humiliated. Period. He was humiliated. And if at the end of the day, whatever problem the party claimed he had in Edo State, that they could not clear him, you understand me? PDP has cleared him. He's not a PDP candidate. Right? It's a minus on our part. Period. It is a big... So we should try and manage the whole scenario very well in Edo State.
But from what he said, maybe placing it alongside in consideration of what the president said, that cases should be withdrawn.
Yes.
How easy or difficult do you think this is going to be? Because people really feel strongly about whatever they feel.
You see, that is why when you start a problem, or you start an issue, you start a fight, you don't know how it's going to end. There will be a lot of casualties on this part. And at the end of the day, like Yoruba would said, Etoba generally the president has spoken, right? And he has said to us, he did what he did because he wants the party to be won.
Even though he didn't interpret what he said in
Yoruba,
Sorry,
there's something that he also said.
Yes.
I mean, he is saying, a staunch member of the APC in Edo State is saying that the recognized chairman of the party in his party, they are clearly at variance.
Yes.
How easy is it going to be to bring everybody on board? Because he has also talked about the need for everyone to work together. Now, he is also here now, the first person to say, I'm not agreeing with this person.
You see, the point is that, you see, we have a lot of fundamental problems with our local politics. I'm serious, we have to be sincere. It is now that you have a governor, after his tenure, he wants to be party chairman. He wants to be a senator. 4 years of Second Republic. Quality politics. They made a mistake. Quality politics. You could see Suleiman Takuma, Ebenahena secretary. Uba Ahmed left the Senate to face him and became the Nigerian secretary of MPN. Will anybody do that now? Will any senator leave the Senate who realizes the position of a secretary of the party and go for it?
Well, gentlemen, before we wrap up, I mean, some of the observations that people have equally made is that how come, you know, the party meeting held at the council chamber, it was the Attorney General that was seen swearing them in. So they thought, wait a minute, was that supposed to be the case?
Excuse me. What else would have been the case?
You have a party secretariat.
The party secretariats, you and I know at that point in time, the police had to be there to secure and make sure there's peace there.
That's operating room secure. So if the police had secured it, why didn't they have the meeting in the Secretariat?
I mean, politics is beyond that. Politics is beyond that. People have premeditation of what they want to do, on how something will not hold. And I believe you know, the president hosting that meeting yesterday gave a lot of credibility. Oh, he went there because Shebali called. No,
but the president has attended meetings at the party secretariat a significant number of times.
Very true.
The question is, why couldn't this also
What was the
there?
environment then? Was there a contention of who, and like he said, who suspended, who is in charge? Everything was just not right. The moment this scenario happened, the first time it happened, and the moment the chairman was reinstated, the president was with him through all the way. That was what happened.
Honorable Osagie, how do you react to this? The fact that that meeting held at the State House? Oh dear, I apologize. It seems that we'll have to get him back. But, you know, that question still remains because if that happened, I mean, it's one thing already that the opposition is already picking on.
Yeah.
That definitely isn't speaking good for your party.
What was it? I mean, some people said they would not go. Were they forced? Was there anybody that was invited that did not attend the meeting to start with?
Okay, let me ask Honorable Osagie. Honorable Osagie, I hope you've been able to catch some of the conversation that we've had so far. How do you react to it? The fact that the meeting held at the State House, and some people are already raising issues about it.
I don't think there is any. Hello, I don't think there is any issue as to the venue of the meeting. The State House is being occupied by a president elected on the platform of the party. I don't think there is an issue at all. After all, the national caucus meetings hold at the government state houses, at government houses, party meetings are held. But remarkably, the president and the party have demonstrated a lot of loyalty to the party because a number of some of these meetings have been held in party secretariat. And I think since the life of this party and this government, this is the first time such a meeting was being called at the villa. So for me, it is much ado about nothing. The president is a leader of the party. He is the president of the country. And summoning a meeting at the villa is not an issue at all. There's no constitutional inhibition as to where such meetings can be held, except, of course, like I told you, the processes and the personnel, the dramatic personnel involved in convening the meeting could have some legal key legs, so to speak. But the venue is irrelevant at this stage.
Well, from what has been said in the NEC meeting, that means we don't expect, not even Comrade can go to court or anybody can go to court to challenge any of these decisions, so they all have to abide by it. That's the assumption. So, all right, gentlemen, we do thank you both for talking to us this morning. Mr. Tunde Bankantini, a member of the party, chieftain in the APC, and the former DG of Lagos State Sports Council, as well as Honorable Samson Osagie, former minority whip. Thank you both for talking to us this morning.